There are people in this world who don't compete with you, they feed off you, they don't rise by effort, they climb on the backs of others, they don't love, respect, or build, they manipulate, drain, and destroy. These are the narcissists, and if you've ever crossed paths with one, you already know this isn't exaggeration, it's revelation. But this speech isn't about them, it's about you reclaiming your power. It's about looking into the eyes of manipulation and saying, not today. Success demands awareness, strength, and the courage to walk away from poison, no matter how charming it looks in the beginning. Your awareness is your armor in life. The greatest threat isn't always the loudest enemy. It's the one you don't see coming, the smiling face that hides a predator, the charming voice that masks manipulation, the subtle disrespect you excuse because you don't want to believe what it really is. Awareness isn't just a mental trait, it's a survival skill. It's armor for your peace, your confidence, your energy, your destiny. People talk about strength like it's all physical or loud or aggressive, but strength starts with perception. You can't fight what you refuse to identify. You can't escape what you don't acknowledge. You can't rise if you keep pretending the weight isn't there. The moment you sharpen your awareness, you stop living blind, and that instantly puts you in control. There are people in the world who survive by preying on the unaware. They test boundaries, they study reactions, they manipulate with fake praise, guilt, charm, or intimidation. They operate best around people who move on emotion rather than clarity. That's why awareness is your first shield. It exposes the game before it even begins. Awareness means studying patterns, not just words. Anyone can say the right thing, but behavior tells the truth every time. Does someone lift you up when you're not benefiting them? Do they respect your time? Do they honor your no? Do they support you when you win, or do they subtly compete? Do they apologize when they're wrong, or do they flip the blame? When your awareness is sharp, fakes can't hide for long. You don't wait for them to stab you. You see the knife before it comes out. Awareness protects your value. You stop letting clowns audition for roles in your life they were never worthy of. You stop handing out trust like party favors. You stop mistaking flattery for loyalty. You stop tolerating patterns that drain your spirit. You recognize that someone being nice to you doesn't mean they have good intentions. It only means they know how to act. The people who get hurt the most aren't weak. They're unaware. They assume everyone thinks like they do. They assume all love is real. They assume loyalty is common. They believe every sorry is sincere. They confuse history with integrity, but awareness changes everything. You start seeing people for what they show, not what you hope. You stop rewriting red flags into yellow warnings. You stop ignoring your gut just because you don't want the truth to be true. Awareness doesn't make you cold. It makes you wise. You become the kind of person who watches before reacting. You listen deeper. You notice inconsistencies. You hold your emotions instead of letting them steer you into traps. You don't chase vibes. You read intentions. And once you can see manipulation forming, you never again become its victim. There's power in being observant. You can still love, still connect, still trust. But you trust with your eyes open, not your eyes closed. You don't go numb, you go alert. You don't shut down. You level up because awareness gives you choice. When someone reveals who they are, you don't argue, justify, or wait for another sign. You decide. Most people respond too late. They realize a relationship was toxic after their confidence is gone, after their peace is destroyed, after they've compromised their standards, after they've invested too much to walk away easily. Awareness saves you from that cost. It lets you detect danger early enough to step back without bleeding. It also protects you from self-deception. Sometimes the enemy isn't a person, it's a belief, a habit, a wound you're ignoring. When you raise your awareness, you don't just examine others, you examine yourself. You see where you've allowed disrespect. You see where you've ignored your intuition. You see where your desire to be liked has overridden your instinct to be safe. And when you correct yourself, no manipulator gets past you again. Your awareness is like a lock on a vault. Your time, energy, and heart are inside, and not everyone gets access. That doesn't make you harsh, it makes you intentional. You don't let random hands touch what you've built. You don't apologize for protecting your soul. Once you develop awareness, people with bad intentions sense it. They know you're not easy prey. They know you won't be manipulated by guilt, charm, titles, or fake tears. You become someone they avoid because they can't use you, and that's the goal, not to argue with snakes, but to be so alert they slither in another direction. You don't have to match someone's darkness to defend yourself. You just have to keep your eyes open. Awareness isn't paranoia. It's preparation, it's clarity, it's self-respect in its sharpest form. Your awareness is your armor. Without it, you're exposed. With it, you're untouchable. Guard your energy like its currency. Energy is the real wealth. Not money, not followers, not possessions. Energy, your ability to think clearly, move with power, act with purpose, and stay mentally sharp determines everything you build, everything you overcome, and everything you attract. That's why narcissists, manipulators, and energy leeches target at first. They don't need your money. They need your mindset. They don't need your schedule. They need your attention. They don't need your love. They need your fuel. Most people don't lose in life because they're weak. They lose because they're drained. Their vision is foggy. Their drive is scattered. Their confidence is low. And their time is stolen by people who give them nothing back. And the sad part, they allow it, because they don't treat their energy like the currency it is. Think about it. Energy determines performance. When you're focused, rested, inspired, and mentally locked in, you're unstoppable. But when you're exhausted from defending yourself, explaining yourself, chasing approval, fixing other people's chaos, or tolerating disrespect, you're operating at half strength, maybe less. The world doesn't beat you, your leaks do. That's why protecting your energy isn't selfish, it's essential. You don't apologize when you protect your money from thieves, right? So why apologize when you protect your spirit? Guarding your energy means being intentional about access. Not everyone deserves your presence. Not everyone gets your ear. Not everyone gets your kindness, your time, your attention, or your trust. Generosity is powerful, but only when it's directed at people who multiply it, not steal it. Energy thieves come in many forms. There's the narcissist who plays victim to keep you guilty and compliant, the friend who only calls when they need something, the family member who drains with negativity but contributes nothing positive, the coworker who dumps problems on you but never offers solutions, the partner who competes with you instead of cheering for you. They don't walk in demanding your energy. They pull it gradually. They test your boundaries, and if you don't enforce them, they expand. They exhaust you emotionally while acting like you're overreacting. They make you feel like protecting your peace is disrespect. But here's the truth. Your energy is oxygen. You can't save anyone else if you're suffocating. Guarding your energy means learning the power of no without explanation. It means leaving messages unread when responding would cost your clarity. It means stepping back from people who always need but never give. It means not attending every argument you're invited to. It means refusing to shrink to make others feel comfortable. It also means choosing your environment with intention. Some rooms drain you because you're the only generator in them. You're the motivator, the problem solver, the emotional nurse, the backbone. And when you're surrounded by people who take more than they give, you start running on fumes. You don't need to be in rooms where your energy is the only energy. You need to be around people who charge you up, not weigh you down. Sometimes protecting your energy means walking away completely, cutting the cord, not because you hate them, but because you love yourself. Not because you're rude, but because you're done financing someone else's comfort with your peace. And it goes deeper. You also have to protect your energy from yourself. Overthinking, replaying conversations, seeking closure from people who don't care, doubting your worth because of someone else's behavior, those are energy leaks too. Discipline isn't just about habits, it's about focus. Stop giving mental real estate to people who wouldn't pay rent for it. Your goals need energy, your healing needs energy, your progress, your health, your confidence, they all demand attention. You can't invest in your future if your present is hijacked by emotional vampires. Ask yourself, who drains me, who disrupts my peace, who makes me explain myself too much, who makes me feel smaller, confused, guilty, anxious, or exhausted. The answer to those questions is your roadmap. You don't need a dramatic confrontation. Detachment is quiet. Boundaries don't need speeches. They need action. Stop engaging. Stop justifying. Stop pouring yourself into black holes and calling it loyalty. Stop confusing patience with passivity. The people meant for you won't drain you. They'll inspire, recharge, and respect you. The most dangerous lie you can believe is that your energy is limitless. It's not. And once it's drained, everything suffers. Your decisions, your health, your relationships, your ambition, your self-image. Protecting it isn't optional. It's the difference between rising and collapsing. You don't owe anyone access. Relationships are not charities. Your attention is not free. Your energy is currency. Bend it only where there's return. And once you master that, the leeches will starve, the manipulators will fade, and your power will rise. Because a focused, energized, self-guarded person cannot be controlled. Your energy is the empire. Guard it like a fortress. Self-respect ends manipulation. Manipulation only works where self-respect is weak. A narcissist, a user, a controller, none of them can gain influence over someone who has a solid grip on their worth. The moment you value yourself above their approval, their tactics fall apart. Self-respect is the line they cannot cross. People think manipulation is about intelligence, charm, or power, but it's not. It's about access. The only reason someone can emotionally hijack you is because you open the door. You question yourself instead of questioning their intentions. You silence your instincts to maintain peace. You tolerate what offends your spirit just to avoid conflict. You give chances instead of consequences, and the more you bend, the bolder they get. But when self-respect walks in, manipulation walks out. Self-respect is not ego, it's not loud, it's not arrogant, it's not about thinking you're better than others. It's about refusing to let others treat you worse than you deserve. It's the standard that governs your responses, your boundaries, your tolerance, and your exits. It's the voice in your head that says, I don't chase what disrespects me. I don't negotiate over my value. I don't cling to what drains me. Manipulators work by exploiting insecurity. They sense when you're afraid to lose someone. They feel when you need validation. They look for cracks in your confidence. They test you with subtle disrespect, half-hearted apologies, empty promises, guilt tactics, and emotional games. If you flinch, if you justify, explain, or accept, they tighten their grip. But self-respect doesn't flinch. It doesn't argue. It doesn't beg. It doesn't explain why it's done. It just walks away from what isn't aligned. When you carry self-respect, you don't seek closure from chaos. You don't wait for someone to change before you choose peace. You don't ask someone to stop hurting you. You stop giving them the position to do so. People only play with you when they think you won't leave. And here's the truth. The most dangerous person in the eyes of a manipulator is the one who doesn't fear loss, the one who knows they can rebuild, the one who understands that walking away isn't losing, it's leveling up. Self-respect also sharpens your perception. You start noticing patterns instead of making excuses. You pay attention to consistency instead of effort. You stop celebrating the bare minimum. You stop accepting sorry without changed behavior. You don't cling to memories when the present is screaming the truth. You stop romanticizing potential and start honoring reality. It changes how you respond to games. When someone withholds affection to control you, you don't chase, you detach. When someone uses guilt to manipulate you, you don't shrink, you stay firm. When they try to twist the story to avoid accountability, you don't debate, you disengage. When they try to trigger your emotions, you answer with silence and clarity. See, manipulation requires participation. If you don't react, their strategy collapses. They can only use what you give them access to. Your time, your guilt, your fear, your desire to be liked, your need to explain. Take those away, and you become unplayable. Self-respect also rewires your circle. You stop sitting at tables where you're only valued when you're useful. You stop entertaining people whose words don't match their actions. You stop letting anyone buy your loyalty with crumbs of attention. You realize that being alone is not the worst outcome. Being surrounded by people who deplete you is. And here's the thing, when your self-respect is real, you don't even announce your boundaries. Your energy enforces them, your silence enforces them, your absence enforces them. You don't have to warn people not to take advantage. You simply do not remain where you are not honored. Some people will call you difficult, cold, arrogant, or selfish once you stop allowing them to step on you. Let them talk. Their labels are just proof that their control is gone. You must understand, manipulation isn't a compliment to your kindness. It's an attack on your self-worth, and the cure isn't revenge or confrontation. It's elevation. When you rise in self-respect, the manipulators disappear on their own because your presence no longer feeds them. The day you decide, I will not lose myself trying to keep someone else, is the day every tactic loses power. Gaslighting stops working, guilt stops landing, silence treatments stop affecting you, lies stop confusing you, emotional bait stops pulling you in. You don't have to teach someone how to treat you. You just stop giving them access when they don't. Self-respect doesn't end relationships. It ends manipulation, disrespect, and emotional slavery. And anything that falls away because you honored your worth wasn't a loss. It was a filter. When you respect yourself fully, nobody can play you. They can try, but they will fail. Because self-respect is the boundary they cannot bend, the door they cannot unlock, and the weakness they cannot exploit. It is the end of their control, and the beginning of your power. Emotional control is a superpower. The fastest way to lose power is to lose control of your emotions. Manipulators, narcissists, and toxic personalities don't always win because they're clever. They win because they get you to react. The moment you become emotional, they become strategic. The second you respond from anger, fear, guilt, or confusion, you give them leverage. But when you master emotional control, every tactic they use collapses. Your silence, your calm, your stillness, those become weapons. Emotional control doesn't mean you stop feeling. It means you stop handing other people the remote to your emotions. You stop letting someone's mood dictate your mood. You stop allowing disrespect to pull you into chaos. You stop responding to manipulation with reaction. You learn to pause, observe, and choose, rather than react, defend, and explain. Toxic people rely on your trigger points. They study what frustrates you, what scares you, what makes you insecure, what keeps you seeking their approval. They poke at your emotional bruises to get a rise out of you. Why? Because reaction means access. If they can get you angry, they can redirect the blame. If they can get you crying, they can guilt trip you. If they can get you yelling, they can play the victim. If they can get you insecure, they can control your decisions. But when you stop reacting, their strategy dies. Imagine someone trying to start a fire with no oxygen. That's what it feels like when a manipulator faces someone emotionally disciplined. Emotional control is not suppressing feelings, it's mastering responses. It's recognizing when someone is trying to bait you and choosing stillness instead of outrage. It's hearing a lie and not rushing to correct it because you know truth doesn't need panic. It's feeling disrespected but refusing to argue because you understand that walking away is louder than shouting. It's understanding that silence makes more noise than anger ever could. The reason emotional discipline is rare is because most people crave resolution in the moment. They need to be understood immediately. They want to prove a point, defend their character, or fix the narrative. That urgency is where narcissists win. They push your buttons until you break character. The moment you do, they flip the story. But when you master your emotions, you stop playing their game. You don't need to correct every lie. You don't need to chase closure. You don't need to explain your boundaries or justify your decisions. You move with intention, not impulse. Think about how powerful it is when someone expects you to explode, and you don't, when they expect you to argue, and you stay calm, when they wait for you to defend yourself, and you exit the conversation. That moment of unexpected composure shifts the entire dynamic. They can't escalate what you won't engage. Emotional control also gives you clarity. You start noticing what's happening instead of being consumed by how it feels. You see manipulation before it lands. You recognize gaslighting before it confuses you. You can detect when someone is trying to guilt you into submission. You catch red flags early because you're not blinded by emotion. And here's something people don't talk about enough. Emotional control intimidates manipulators. They're used to dominating people through reactions. When you don't give them that, they lose confidence in their influence. They push harder at first, but eventually they withdraw because they can't operate where they can't invade. It also changes how you communicate. You start choosing silence over arguments, distance over drama, facts over feelings. You understand that not responding is sometimes the most powerful response. You don't attend every confrontation you're invited to. You don't let people pull you into narratives designed to drain you. Most importantly, you become unshakable. You stop letting disrespect turn you into someone you're not. You stop letting betrayal make you bitter. You stop letting disappointment destroy your day. You remain centered. Because your power doesn't come from controlling others. It comes from controlling yourself. People will test you. They will try to provoke you. They will attempt to use your emotions against you. But every time you choose composure, your strength multiplies. Every time you refuse to react, you reinforce your boundaries. Every time you hold your peace instead of spilling it, you protect your mind. Emotional control isn't coldness. It's discipline. It's the ability to feel everything but choose wisely. It's knowing your triggers well enough that nobody else can weaponize them. It's walking away from disrespect without turning it into a spectacle. It's staying poised under pressure. It's responding after thinking, not reacting out of impulse. And here's the secret: when you master emotional control, toxic people eliminate themselves. They cannot thrive in an environment where they can't manipulate the temperature. They need reaction to survive, and you deny them that fuel. The most dangerous person is the one who feels deeply but moves strategically, the one who hears everything but responds only when necessary, the one who has emotions but refuses to be ruled by them. Emotional control doesn't just end manipulation, it builds an aura of strength that speaks without raising its voice. Walking away is winning. People are taught to believe that walking away is weakness, that staying, fixing, proving, explaining, or enduring is strength. That mindset is exactly why manipulators thrive. They don't need to be stronger than you. They just need you to stay where you're being diminished. The truth is simple. Walking away is not surrender. It is strategy, self-respect, and power in motion. Walking away doesn't mean you lost. It means you refuse to lose yourself. It means you choose peace over chaos, clarity over confusion, energy over exhaustion, and dignity over disrespect. It's not an escape, it's an elevation. Toxic people rely on your attachment. They need you to fear leaving more than you fear what staying is doing to you. They use guilt, nostalgia, pity, false promises, emotional hooks, and fear tactics to keep you in place. They want you to think that letting go means you gave up, that distance makes you the villain, that boundaries make you cold. None of that is truth, it's control. Understand this: you don't owe anyone your destruction. Staying somewhere that's draining you is not loyalty, it's self-abandonment. Sacrificing your peace to maintain someone's comfort is not love, it's imprisonment. You don't have to set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm, especially when they are the ones holding the match. Walking away is powerful because it cuts off access. Manipulators lose influence when proximity ends. They can't gaslight you when you're no longer listening. They can't trip you when you stop responding. They can't drain you when you stop showing up. Distance isn't avoidance, it's protection. One of the biggest lies people believe is that closure comes from conversation. It doesn't. Closure comes from acceptance, accepting that some people will never understand the damage they caused, accepting that their version of the story will always make them the victim, accepting that their behavior won't change no matter how much you explain. Once you accept that, walking away becomes freedom, not conflict. And here's the truth most don't want to face: staying won't make them change, walking away might. When someone loses access to you, they're forced to face the consequences of their behavior. They might deny, deflect, or blame, but deep down they know you left because they pushed you too far. Distance is the loudest accountability there is. This doesn't just apply to relationships. It applies to friendships that drain you, environments that dull you, jobs that shrink you, family members who disrespect you, and any space where your worth goes unrecognized. You were not created to stay in rooms that suffocate your potential. Walking away isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's silent, no explanation, no speech, no warning, just a decision made in private that you're done negotiating your value. That alone is strength. The more you grow, the quieter your exits become. And let's address this: people will judge you for walking away. They'll call you selfish, disloyal, heartless, arrogant. Let them. Their opinion doesn't change your reality. You don't live for their approval, and you don't heal by staying where you're hurt. Walking away is not avoidance of conflict. It's refusal to live in it. It's not fear of struggle. It's awareness of what's worth struggling for. It's not quitting. It's choosing a battleground where your energy is not wasted. Look back at your life. Every time you leveled up, you left something or someone behind: an old mindset, a bad habit, a dead-end situation, a toxic influence. Growth requires separation. Elevation requires release. Winners don't cling, they evolve. The real strength isn't in how long you can stay. The strength is in recognizing the moment your staying becomes self-destruction. Walking away is not abandoning the fight. It's choosing not to fight battles that sabotage your future. And here's a powerful truth: your absence is often more impactful than your presence. When you remove yourself, people feel the void they took for granted. Your silence becomes the answer they pretended not to hear. Your distance becomes the mirror they avoided. Your departure becomes the lesson they earned. Walking away is also how you reclaim energy. What drains you cannot grow you. When you leave what weakens you, you make space for what strengthens you. You stop surviving and start rising. You stop defending yourself and start becoming yourself. The moment you walk away from what's wrong for you, you walk into what's right for you: better people, better opportunities, better peace, better clarity, better life. And the best part, you don't have to prove anything to anybody. The results of your healing and elevation will speak louder than any explanation. Walking away is not losing. Staying somewhere that kills your spirit, that's losing. Walking away is winning with dignity. The greatest battles in life aren't always fought on courts, fields, or stages. They're fought in silence, behind closed doors, and inside your own spirit. You don't lose to narcissists, manipulators, or toxic personalities because they're stronger. You lose when you don't recognize the game they're playing. This speech wasn't just a breakdown of their behaviors. It was a roadmap for taking your power back. Awareness is your first shield. When you see the illusion for what it is, you stop romanticizing manipulation and start detecting it early. You stop believing every smile and start watching how people move when they no longer need you. Once you sharpen your perception, nobody can blindside you again. Then comes energy protection. Your time, your mind, your peace, those are assets. When you treat them like currency, you stop overspending them on people who only bring debt. You stop financing your own exhaustion just to maintain someone else's comfort. Guarding your energy is not selfish, it's strategy. With self-respect, you draw the line that manipulation cannot cross. You don't wait for someone to value you, you value you. You don't beg for effort, you match energy. You don't cling to history when the present is poisonous. Self-respect doesn't just block toxicity, it starves it. Emotional control turns you into a force that cannot be played. When you stop reacting, you stop being controlled. When you stop explaining, you stop being twisted. When you stop engaging, they stop winning. Calm is not weakness, it's precision. Silence is not surrender, it's dominance. And finally, walking away is how you win without swinging. It's not defeat, it's detachment. It's not quitting, it's elevation. Leaving a situation that drains you isn't loss, it's liberation. The moment you disconnect from what disrespects you, you reconnect with who you truly are. These 5 principles aren't just responses to narcissistic behavior. They're tools for life. They're not about hating anyone. They're about never letting anyone make you hate yourself. They're not about proving anything to them. They're about proving something to you, that you will never again shrink, break, or bend just to be tolerated. The monsters don't disappear because they change. They disappear because you do. When you awaken, protect, respect, discipline, and detach, their power ends. And once their power ends, your future begins. If you're ready for the next part, tags, hashtags, timestamps, or formatting, just tell me and I'll make it happen.